Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave. And in this extension review tutorial, you're going to learn about the delete orders extension.
Yeah, and this is a great extension because Magento out of the box doesn't give you the ability to delete orders. So, for example, when you are testing or getting your Magento store set up, there is no ability to delete the orders. Well, technically you can jump in the database and go and delete them, but that's not really Matt and Dave friendly, is it, Dave?
Absolutely not.
So what we're going to do, let's jump across to our desktop. We'll show you what this extension does. If you like the sound of it, carry on and watch the rest of the tutorial because we'll show you where you can go and get this extension for free, how you install it, and how you can use it. And by the way, Dave, it's dead simple to use. So let's jump across to the desktop and let's go and do it.
Let's do it.
So Dave, Magento out of the box does not come with a delete order option from the orders menu at all.
No, it doesn't, does it?
What this extension does, so if we go to sales and then orders, and then imagine that you've been testing on your Magento site and you want to clear out some old orders, you couldn't do that without adding this extension. Well, you could, but you need to go and hack around in the database, and that's not very user friendly. So by adding this extension, so we've got an order here for this chap called Matt Ogborn, and we want to delete his order because that was perhaps a test order like all of these orders in our system, Dave. So we tick that order on the left hand side, and then from the actions menu, we now have a delete order option, and that's what that extension adds, is this ability for you to delete orders. And remember, this option is not in your Magento system out of the box. You can only add that in by adding an extension like this delete order extension, which then allows you to delete that order. So if I then click on submit, and our order 8,000,000,004 has now been removed. Does that make sense, Dave?
Yeah, that was super quick. And like I say, once the extension's in there, it's just part of your actions menu.
Absolutely. So if that sounds like and looks like an extension you would like to install on your Magento website, carry on watching the rest of this tutorial and we'll show you how to install it and get running with it. Now, before we get started and install this extension onto our Magento system, and of course if you're following this tutorial along and installing it on your system, there are 5 basic steps that you must take before installing any extension on your Magento system.
Now these are split into 2 sections. So firstly, before you do anything else, we want you to make a complete system backup of your Magento site, and once you've done that, turn off compilation.
That's right. Now, during this tutorial, we'll actually go through these. We make a backup before installing each and every extension on our Magento site, and also you'll see us go in and just double check that compilation is turned off on our site. Now, we are going to assume that you've made those 2 steps, and Dave, there's 3 additional steps as well, aren't there?
There are. Now, if you've installed Magento extensions before, these should be no stranger to you, but just for clarity, we're going to run through them. Thirdly, you're going to add the extension and wait for that install to complete fully.
So that's that green message, cache clears successfully.
Exactly. Then we're going to return to the admin area and clear out all of the caches.
And crucially, it's the biggest mistake, and I've made this myself so many times, Dave, remember to log out and log back in again. And that's especially important adding larger extensions, because when you go into the configuration area, you'll end up with this big 404 error on your page. So with that said, let's go and get this extension installed. And you might have heard us say this one slide over and over again if you've been watching lots of the tutorials which we've made as part of this course, but it is super important. Do make a backup of your Magento system. Do just double check the compilation's disabled. Do wait for the extension to complete its install. Do clear out your caches, and do remember just to log out and log back in again. And those 5 steps are the steps which you have to make with any extension for your Magento store. So Dave, that was the boring ad bit out of the way. Let's go and get this extension installed.
Let's do it.
So Dave, we got a link up on our screen right now, haven't we?
We have indeed, and that link is understandinge.com/get-do.
Now, the DO is for delete orders, and if you type that into your web browser, you're going to come across to the Magento Connect website, and you'll come to the right page, which is the delete orders extension. Now, Dave, there's lots of extensions on the Magento Connect which do this kind of function, but this one is by far our favorite. We've used it ourselves. This is why we're recommending it to you to use in your system. Now, it is also worth pointing out that you do need to be logged in. If you're not logged into Magento Connect, you just click on My Account in the top right hand corner and you can log in and of course then come back to this page. Now, to install this extension is dead simple. It's just like any other Magento extension. So we're going to click on Install Now. We're going to choose I agree to the license agreement. Of course, Dave, we read those thoroughly, don't we?
Absolutely, at least twice and once before bed.
Indeed. So click on it, get extension key, click on select key, right click and copy. So we've been and got our extension key. Let's go back to our Magento store. And of course, you've been and made a backup of your Magento system, etc., and have turned the compiler off. Now we want to go down to Magento Connect and Magento Connect Manager. We need to log in. So where it says paste extension key to install, we're going to click in that box, right click and choose paste. We're going to click on install. We're just waiting for the little message to pop up. Yes, rather than Infosys delete order, we're going to click on proceed. And Dave, just like any other extension, we're waiting for the last message which says cache cleaned successfully. There you go. How's that for timing?
There it is. That's what we like to see.
Do not leave this page until you see that message at the bottom. Now that we've been and installed that extension, we want to go back to the top of the page, click on return to admin. Now, Dave, just like any other extension, we need to follow a simple process. We need to go and clear our caches out. And crucially, we must remember to log out and log back in again, don't we?
You do.
So let's go down to system and cache management. We're going to click select all on the left and then submit on the right hand side. And while we're here, Dave, we're also going to flush the Magento cache and also the cache storage as well. This does take a few seconds to go through. So we'll do the cache storage now, wait for that to finish. And of course, it will take a few seconds in your system too if you're following us along with your Magento site. And then crucially, we must remember to log out and then log back in again. Brilliant. Dave, if we now go to sales and then orders from the top menu, see this top order up here for this strange chap called Matt Ogborn?
Yep.
We don't want Matt's order anymore, so we are going to delete it. So we're going to tick the order on the left-hand side. And then from the actions menu, Dave, can you see that we've got a delete order option on here now?
I can indeed.
So we'll choose delete order, then click on submit. Are you sure you want to delete order? Yes. Click on OK. Brilliant. That order's now been and disappeared. So Dave, that means that if we were putting a few test orders through like we did right back at the beginning, then we can delete those from our system and they're no longer clogging up our Magento system, if that makes sense. It gives us a fresh start.
Yeah.
Really, really useful extension, especially if you're clearing up old orders within your Magento system, the ones which you've been using for tests. Obviously, we don't suggest deleting real customer orders. That extension's only really meant for deleting test orders which you've been making in your system. Does that make sense, Dave? Nice and easy?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And like you say, it's a nice bit of added functionality, which you shouldn't need to use very often. But like Matt said, if you've been following us along in other tutorials and been setting up a few test orders, maybe testing out the Ship Easy extension with a few of your own orders, this is the perfect extension to be able to go in and get rid of those.
Absolutely. And again, it's not default functionality in Magento. You can't do this out of the box. So a really, really handy extension.
So from myself, Dave, and of course Matt too, we sincerely hope that you found this tutorial useful or at least interesting. And you now know that if you do need to delete orders, there is a free extension available for you.
That's right. So with that said, from myself, Matt.
And from me, Dave.
Cheerios.
We both hope that you found this video tutorial useful. If you have, then subscribe to be kept up to date with more Magento themed tutorials.
Back before myself and Matt started building Understanding E, I was under the impression that Magento was really nerdy and that you almost needed to be a developer to get the most out of it. And now, I know that that just doesn't have to be the case.
That's why we built Understanding E, to show you that Magento is really easy to use and you can use it for your business to sell onto eBay and Amazon, and most importantly, that a degree in Nerd is not required.
If you would like to find out more about us and gain access to over 150 non-nerd step-by-step video tutorials on Magento, then please visit us at understandinge.com.
And we'll see you there. Cheerios!